Good morning. I'm going to run a short course on something you probably haven't encountered before. Just in case on your way home today you should encounter a helicopter sitting on the ground, perhaps on your drive or in your garden, and you want to know why it's there. I want to instruct you on how you can approach the aircraft safely, without any risk to yourselves, find out why it's there, and walk away again without any personal risk. There obviously are some risks with a helicopter. It's a big, powerful machine. It has, it's a good picture, isn't it? It has two rotors, basically. The main one on the top and a smaller one at the tail. Could anyone suggest to me why those rotors would represent a danger to us if we were walking towards a helicopter?
Well, if they're moving round,
Yeah.
they could shred you, yeah.
Yeah. If they struck you, it would almost certainly be fatal. Almost certainly be fatal. The other thing is, when someone's going around very fast, which sense becomes slightly disabled? If you're sitting on a hot day and you put your cooling fan on in your living room, you look at your fan, you switch it on, what changes?
It disappears.
Yes, disappears. It just becomes a blur. So the rear one, which you can see I've highlighted danger, is the tail rotor. That goes extremely fast, so you can't see it. They paint them all kinds of colours. You still can't see them when they're running. What else are you going to encounter when you approach a helicopter? They're famous for other things.
Isn't there a wind or something?
Yeah, it's very windy,
Yeah.
and something else too.
Noise?
Yeah, extremely noisy. So you can't communicate with anyone either. It's extremely windy, there's rotors whizzing round, there's enormous power behind them, and it's extremely noisy. To approach the aircraft, at the front, there's another aspect. There's always the pilot sitting there. So we need to communicate with the pilot. At the back is the tail rotor, and the golden rule is you never go round the back of a helicopter. Never go round the back of a helicopter. Only approach the front. So, to approach the front, now I have to come up with imagine you're above the helicopter, okay? So here we've got the tail rotor at the back. We never go round the back. We approach from the front. But this rotor, the main one, is movable. Who moves that rotor? Pilot, with his controls. So before we approach the helicopter, what do we need to do?
Tell the pilot.
Communicate with the pilot. Absolutely. Communicate with the pilot. How?
Stand in front of him and tell him.
Signal it.
Signal. You can't tell him. It's too noisy.
Or
Windy.
signal.
You can't hear you. So yeah, absolutely right. Signalling. There's a standard procedure. If you signal a big thumbs up, and he responds with a big thumbs up, and they always wear white gloves. They never wear black gloves, so you can see their hands. Big thumbs up, then you know you can walk up to the helicopter. So when it's sitting in your garden, when you get home tonight, and you want to know why it's there, this is the way you go in. You go in from the front when you've got a signal from the pilot. And we've got a memory aid. It's one I made up in about 2 hours. Not even very good. Death oath. Death oath. Don't ever approach the helicopter other than at the front. Why not? Can you tell me why not?
Because of the back rotor.
Absolutely right. You can't see it, you can't hear it, and the pilot can't see where you are if you're in the back. So don't ever approach the helicopter other than at the front.
Roger, you know the back, what's it called? Rotor?
Yeah.
Does it spin like that or like that?
If you look side on, spins. Oops, like that. from the side.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's a huge surface area there. It might only be 2 blades, which are only that wide, but in a circle, it's a huge surface area. Okay, so we know we're not to approach from the rear. We only approach from the front when the pilot gives us the all clear, because we know the main rotors are high above your head, and as long as he doesn't move them, they're not going to hit you on the head. But there's one other factor that the pilot may not be aware of either. What if it's parked by a hill? What would happen? You got your thumbs up, the pilot wasn't aware of that hill, and you started to walk towards the helicopter. Absolutely. You're going to walk straight into the road blades, which are being driven by about 1,000 horsepower. They weigh about 150 kilos. And it's only going to take a glancing blow. So what should we do? Helicopters in your garden. You've got a sloping garden.
Don't push, don't.
Don't. Absolutely. Absolutely right. You make no attempt to approach the aircraft. None at all. We can't go in a different way. Why not? Why can't we go in?
Can't go from the rear.
Can't go in from the rear. Yeah. So, when we're on level ground, it's way above your head. It's quite safe. Pilot's in control. When you're on sloping ground, could be anywhere. So, to recap, we never approach from the rear. We only approach when the pilot gives us permission, and we be aware of sloping ground. Okay, are there any questions?
Why would there be a helicopter in a sloping garden?
Maybe it's an ambulance helicopter. The neighbours had a fall.
Fair enough.
Anything else? So are you comfortable with approaching a rotors running helicopter?
Yes, thank you very much.
Good.
Okay, good. All right then. Very well done indeed, Roger. And thank you very much indeed for going first. Not the easiest thing in the world to do when you're sort of first up. Let's ask the man himself then. How did you feel about it?
All right, I did go back over some ground because I felt I hadn't covered it.
Have seats by all means.
I had to go back and then come forward again,
Right, okay.
which I wasn't particularly comfortable with.
Right.
I missed the point early on that the rotors are normally very high, so I had to come back to that and explain that to justify the concern about the sloping ground.
Okay. All right. Well, let's concentrate on what you believe you did well. What were you pleased with?
I put the graphics first right,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
they highlighted the danger all the time of the back. I kept repeating that you never go around the back, and the tail rotor is dangerous. You can't see it. You focused on it. I brought in the noise and the wind. You can't communicate with the pilot other than by signal, so it was important that you knew about the noise and the wind.
Right.
I think I tried to involve the delegates as much as I could,
Yes. That's good.
but sometimes that's difficult when they're completely new to a topic.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to get the ball rolling
Yeah.
and bring them in. I thought I did that okay.
Okay. Anything that you would like to improve? Or anything that you would change, or anything that you would like to do better?
I'd like to write a better.
Sorry.
I'd like a better memory aid.
Okay. I actually thought the memory aid was really good. Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah. Okay. It's not as bad as Socator or Dog Roof, is it? It doesn't really matter, does it? Okay. All right then.
I missed anecdotal evidence as well. I did intend to put some in, and I forgot.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, there's a few things there. Okay. If you were to think about it as, kind of not just as what we've done, but kind of the whole thing, Anything else that you think you might want to work on, or anything else that you'd be, having done your sort of first training session, if you like, anything that you think, kind of you would like to perhaps revisit objectives-wise? We did our objectives yesterday morning, but any sort of objectives now beginning to stand out to you a little bit more?
No, I don't really see what you're driving at.
Well, in terms of having done it now, and done well in terms of what we've already done, is there anything that you feel would help you to kind of make it even better?
It would be better if I was more relaxed, and
Right.
then there would be more humour in it.
Right. Okay then.
That's
Fine.
for sure.
All right.
No, I can't. No.
Okay, all right then, fine. Well, let's move around to our resident experts, the panel, the panel, Firial and Gary. So Firial, you were doing the whole area of the 7 stages of the learning process. So what did you pick out specifically?
Okay. Specifically, I thought the talk was the right length, and it covered all the things that it needed to cover in the 5 minutes. It may have been a good idea to have written down the objective at the beginning to give it structure, although you did say it verbally. I would have thought that, you said it, so you did structure it, but I think it would have been a little bit more, it would have had more impact if it was written there. This is what you do if you find a helicopter in your garden or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is something that, generally speaking, talking to a lot of you, kind of individually, some of you, kind of thought to yourselves, okay, well, what am I going to train on, and why am I going to train on it?
Oh, I had no clue, yes.
Yeah, and I think that, once you actually start at the very beginning, as Julie Andrews would say, it's really, really important that, you focus in, why you're doing it, and then basically, okay, well, what do I want them to be able to do by the end of the training session? Yeah. So I agree with Firial that maybe that was a little bit unclear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that, and it's a structural thing, so we're going to work on it. I just felt that we were into it without knowing exactly why. Yeah. So maybe that might be something that kind of people want to think about when they're doing theirs. So okay, all right. What else did you come up with?
It did make sense, it flowed logically, and I like the fact that there was repetition in the fact that don't go around the back, otherwise you'll end up with human coleslaw sort of thing. Quite like that.
Now you see, I like that. You've said human coleslaw, everybody's laughed, and it really does conjure up an image in people's minds, doesn't it? Yeah, they're beginning to think to themselves, coleslaw, thinking to themselves in terms of coleslaw. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's really, really good. That sort of thing's good. All right.
But the fact that it was repeated, that don't go around the back, don't
Yes.
go around the back.
Yeah.
Because for somebody like myself who doesn't know about helicopters, I probably would go around the back because I'm
Mhm.
stupid like that.
There's
So that was very
there's
good.
always some person.
Yeah, there always-
worth going.
there's
Get
always
away from
one.
the back, isn't there? Yeah. So.
There's always one. The men were very good, depots.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like those very much because mine is crap.
What CRAP? What does that stand
Yeah.
for? We'll find that out. Okay.
I like the fact that there was a lot of audience participation. I thought that the fact that there were questions invited.
Okay, that's moving into Gary's area maybe. So
Is it not part of?
that was number 2's, wasn't it?
Oh, was it? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Not to worry.
I'm not sure if there was any action. I'm not sure if there was any generalization in the current or past experience. I don't think so, but I might be wrong.
No, there wasn't.
I don't
So
think
I
there
said
was.
that.
Um.
I meant to do it, and I
Yeah.
just slipped it.
I thought the questions came in the feedback bit, Stuart. Because you said, what questions did the trainer ask? So you did ask questions. So is that not part of feedback?
No, I think. Okay.
Good morning to you all. My name is Roger Astill. Welcome to Roger's Spare Wheels. My job is to instruct people on how to change wheels, and I'm very pleased that you could all attend the course today. I'd like to start the course, please, if we could go around one at a time. Brief, give yourself your name, and a brief description of what you do for them. We'll start on my left, please.
Chris. And I'm a footballer.
Footballer, who do you play?
Just.
Chelsea?
Yeah, reserves. Obviously.
You can't, you're English. The next one, please.
Hi Roger, I'm Firiel. I'm a training manager in a pharmaceutical company.
Thank you.
Gary Greenwich and car sales.
I'm Juliette and I'm a training manager for an IT recruitment company.
I'm Barry Cobb and I'm a customer services manager.
Thank you very much, so welcome again. Before we go any further, if we could just cover a couple of important points. Firstly, most importantly, coffee and tea making facilities are in the next office over there. Fire escapes, if you need to get out very quickly, the window's the quickest way, but you probably won't survive. So the stairs, avoid the lifts if you could. Thirdly, toilets, etc. are just outside. Okay, I said before, my name, Roger Astill. Do call me Roger. Sir isn't necessary. Okay, the course today is entitled How to Change a Spare Wheel. I'll take you through this course in 3 stages. The first one is how do we jack a car up safely and down safely. The second is how do we get the wheel on and off. And the third is how do we avoid the hazards associated with doing this job. By the end of the course, I hope you will all be confident in how you're going to set about this. It's something we're all going to come across. How many of you here have never had a puncture? Well, I'll get your attention then, because it's going to happen to you one day.
Yeah, Murphy's Law.
Okay, what's we need certain tools. You're rattling down the M1, 90 miles an hour, whatever you're doing, and suddenly it all gets very noisy. The car starts to wander across the road. You pull over onto the hard shoulder. You look, get out the car. Your front left-hand tyre is flat. You can't pump it up. There's no air available, is there, on the motorways? So what do we need? There's 3 things we need in particular. Anyone help me with that, please?
Spare wheel.
Spare wheel. If we haven't got a spare wheel, you might as well call the AA immediately. Anything else?
Jack.
Jack? Anything else?
A thingy to take the thingies off.
Can't fit that in.
Wheel brace.
Wheel braces.
I knew that.
So what's the principle? What are we trying to achieve?
Change wheel.
Change a wheel. We want to get one with air on and the flat one off. In order to get it off, what do we need to do? We've got a ton of car sitting on it at the moment. How are we going to overcome that?
Support the car.
Support the car. Get the car off the ground. So when the car is off the ground, what do we need to do next?
We cannot loosen the nuts first.
Brilliant. You're a step ahead of me already. Should we loosen the wheel nuts first? Well, if we don't, we jack the car up, and then we start to undo the wheel nuts. They might be very, very tight. So what do we need to do to our wheel brace to get them off? They're so tight. Wheel braces are only that long, aren't they? Don't know why they don't give them you that long. It'll have to be a lot easier. What do you see people doing?
Put an extension on.
Yeah, you haven't got one. You're on the side of the M1. Good idea.
Jumping up and down on it.
They jump up and down on it. Absolutely right. That's what you see all the time. So you've got your car up in the air, balanced rather precariously on your jack, and you start jumping up and down on the wheel. Could you tell me what is likely to happen?
Your wheel will spin round.
Yes, absolutely right. Your wheel will spin round.
I might fall off the jack.
Yeah. You're jumping up and down, and your car is essentially unstable now. When you look at the jack from the side, there it is, the car's raised up in the air, it looks quite steady. When you look at them from the front, it could be like that. Very easily like that. Very hard to know, particularly if it's dark, is your jack straight? So, you're jumping up and down. If your car should fall off the jack, what else is in the vicinity of the car?
You got
You are. Absolutely right. You are. I remember we were working in the Middle East, and some young lad had a flat in his Land Cruiser in the desert. He jacked it up and he sat with his legs under the car. Of course, uneven ground, the jack slipped, bang, full weight of the car on his legs. Not very nice. The only way to get it off is try and get the jack back on. How do we get the jack back on if the car, with your man underneath it, is on the ground?
You don't.
You can't. Brilliant. Perfect answer. You can't get the jack back under. So what could we do? What else could we do to prevent that happening? What else have we got? We're using the jack. We're using the wheel brace. What else have we got? We've got three things. Yeah. We've got a spare wheel. Perfect answer. Brilliant. What could we do with the spare wheel?
Put it on the car.
Precisely right. If you put the spare wheel under the car, it saves all that pain of having your legs broken. The weight falls onto the wheel. So when the weight falls onto the wheel, you would then be in that condition, which is much more desirable than it sitting on your legs. But then you say, wait a minute, but I've got to get that wheel on the car. But that's all right, you can put your jack back in. Jack the car back up, take the wheel off, put that one under the car, take the spare wheel out, put it onto the car. So, there's two items here that are particularly important for your safety. Always have the spare wheel under the car, and always have the weight on the wheel to loosen or tighten the nuts. So to go over that again, we always put the spare wheel under the car, and we always have the weight on the wheel to loosen and tighten the nuts. There's another thing, also in the working in Yemen, in the desert. We had a puncture. Everyone has Toyota Land Cruisers out there. Nobody drives anything else. We had a puncture. We did this. You jack, nothing happens. Jack just disappearing into the desert. What do you do now?
Need something under the jack.
Yeah.
A piece of wood.
Brilliant.
Fine.
What? Where? Absolutely. Absolutely right. A load spreader. Something to spread the load out on soft ground. Okay, fine. Got a little memory aid for you. Because I think the most important thing about changing a spare wheel on your car is that the car doesn't fall on you. If you can't do it, then you call the AA, the RAC, walk home, whatever you do. You don't want two broken legs. So, if the car begins to sway, your spare wheel will save the day. Simple as that. You should never have the car on the jack unless there's a secondary means of catching the car when it falls. Could be anything, but the spare wheel's there. It's handy, it's available. And finally, are there any questions? Do we all understand the principle behind changing the wheel on the car? So, to conclude, remember, tighten and loosen wheel nuts with weight on the wheel. Why do we do that? Anyone tell me?
So that realistically, the car's not swaying while it's in the air.
In addition, while you're making the car sway, it could be 40-ton trucks whooshing down a motorway, rocking it with wind. Yeah, absolutely right. And secondly, always put the spare beneath the car when it is on the jack, for the same reasons. Okay, thank you very much. If there's any, are there any more questions?
No.
Okay, that's the end of the first course in changing a wheel. I believe there's another one later this morning. My own next step for you all will be changing a wheel on a jumbo jet. Thank you very much.
Okay, excellent. Okay, good. Well done, Roger. Thank you very much indeed. An excellent start this morning. Well then, let's ask the man himself. How did you feel about that this morning compared to yesterday?
No, a lot better.
A lot better.
A lot better.
Miles better. It was much, much better. Why do you think that was?
I wasn't so nervous. I don't know why not, because I was more nervous before I started it. But once I got going, I was much happier with it.
Yeah.
Much happier with it. Well, I knew what to do. I knew where to go and
Yeah.
how to structure it.
Yeah.
Which was the battle, really.
Excellent. Okay, so well done on that. Yeah. So you can feel the improvement in yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else that you were particularly pleased that you improved given the feedback yesterday?
I tried to improve the delivery. I tried to be much more animated.
Yeah, it was much, much better, Roger. And, you probably, I don't know, you didn't probably feel very natural doing that, but to the rest of you, did it come across much better than perhaps this stage 24 hours ago?
Yeah,
You
absolutely
can
good.
see that obviously the confidence was there this time.
Yeah.
I think it was built on the foundations of what he did yesterday and then took it forward. Again, little from what, well, I'll keep my notes until we want me to send them.
Okay, yeah, just general points
But
to
yeah,
do with the delivery.
a lot more confidence.
Yeah. This is why feedback from the group is so important, and I'm absolutely delighted, Roger, because you've really taken that feedback on board and made a very conscious effort to improve it. And I think it was 100% better this morning than it was yesterday morning. Yeah. So very, very well done. Excellent. Is there anything still you think, oh right, I'd still need to, kind of tweak that, or I'd still like to work on that?
Well, I did the same thing as yesterday. I had to go back because I missed something.
Right.
But I don't know.
I don't really think we
But
picked
that
that
was
up.
obvious.
No,
Didn't you?
That's
no,
not obvious at all. Because
Yeah.
you just sort of carried on.
Yeah.
Regardless,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean?
And don't forget.
Well, I didn't then.
Yeah. We're very honest on you. I think that's something that I've got down in my feedback is that you knew quite clearly what it was that you wanted to say.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I think that sometimes, because we're delivering it largely in training without notes, we'll just maybe have reminders, but we're not writing ourselves scripts. Sometimes things will get forgotten, yeah? But as long as you can weave them back in somewhere else. I think once again, in the conversation with one of you this morning, I said that it doesn't, or was it with you? Yeah, it was, I think it was with Gary out there. Was that it doesn't really matter, yeah? How you do it, as long as the subject area is covered completely. So, if you go to the Read Training brochure, for instance, yeah, there may be 2 management courses running. Now, how I do it compared to the person in that room will probably be completely different in terms of, structure and style, yeah? But what will remain the same is the subject area. And people always say to me, because I sort of lead the management courses, what should I be doing here? I'm saying, look, it doesn't matter. Whichever way you want to do it, as long as the subject is covered, yeah? As long as what's in the brochure is covered, because that's what people are paying for. So, don't worry too much about that. You can weave it in, yeah? As I said to you yesterday, would you know if I'd left anything out in this course? Yeah? Or would you know if something had come in slightly the wrong order? Very often I don't know myself until it actually happens, but, you know, kind of, as long as you weave it in, yeah? Yeah? Okay. Anything else that you still think to yourself, okay, I'd like to tweak that?
I didn't use anybody's name.
Okay, so just try and, yeah, it's just
I
that I
have to do that. Well, I don't remember names particularly well either.
Okay.
Particularly when I'm up there.
Yeah, alright then, fine. Some people do have, you know, kind of, I pick
I would
up
have
names
name
generally
cards.
speaking quite
A good
quickly.
one is a course, though. If you're going to run a course, if you have name badges
Absolutely.
on your
Or cards, I mean,
cards.
I said to you yesterday, there's only 6 people on the course, you know, with the exception of